So I'm on a spontaneous drive in the McLaren today, and the reason for that is I'm feeling a bit inspired by something I saw on YouTube with Top Gear UK and Gordon Murray about his new T.50 Hypercar. And one of the things that he said in that video that really resonated with me, that I just found fascinating, is that he sold his McLaren F1 because owning it became untenable. Now, for those that are not familiar with this space, a little bit of background. So Gordon Murray designed one of the most iconic supercars of all time in the McLaren F1. And the reasons he cited for why he had to sell his personal car, basically his baby that he designed, is that the cost for it, from insurance to just fixing it if it were to break, once it became worth $20 million, was just not something that he was comfortable with from a usability perspective. So it basically just sat iced, and he said he likes to use his stuff, and so once he could no longer use the car, it made sense to him to sell it on. Now, for somebody who loves cars and is interested in finance, this is a really fascinating thing that's happened here, and I think it illustrates a point about money that is perhaps not intuitively obvious. And it's that money is a tool, and you can abstract away, actual dollars and cents, and what it does is it allows people to exchange value. And for me, this is kind of almost silly that you could have a car where the person that created it can no longer use it because the value that other people see in it exceeds the person that's created its means. It really is a case of first world problems. In many cases, if it were any other owner, it'd be hard to say, oh, I feel bad for the guy. I mean, he probably made out with somewhere around $20 million, and he can go buy a car that gives him, I'm sure, a visceral experience in kind. In fact, he went and built his own in the T.50. Maybe that's why, to a certain degree. But there's just something about that somebody can create something, and then the world around him can change to the point that he can no longer enjoy that which he created. And it really is a mindset thing, right? I mean, he didn't have to sell the car. It was his decision to make. But you can't really fault him for it either. $20 million for a single car is quite a load of money, to the point that probably only the world's richest can afford to do something like that. But it got me thinking about all of the things kind of in my life that may be similar or may not be similar, and to a certain extent, purchasing this car, I had a similar decision to make, certainly not on the same scale. And I referenced this in the other video about should you buy a McLaren 12C. It's that I could have bought a low mileage car for about the same money as I paid for this one. And part of the problem with that is then it becomes a potential long-term value proposition, where if you have a 3,000 mile, 2012 12C with the swipe doors, I'm pretty sure 20 years from now, that car, unmolested, will cross an auction block for a very, very nice sum of money. And if that's the type of thing you're into, then, by all means. And it's hard to intentionally pass up on something like that, but I didn't want a car that was going to be a garage queen. I wanted to be able to get out and do this, because this to me is more important than any monetary value that I might get by not doing this. So I bought a 20,000 mile car instead of a 3,000 mile car so that I could be able to hoon it on the back roads around my house. And it's, you know, absolutely been the right decision as far as I'm concerned. But there are other aspects of my life where I know I do stupid things kind of similar to this decision that he made. For example, I have a lot of very nice sneakers that are very valuable, and there are some that have become so valuable that I don't wear them. And it's kind of silly because, you know, I bought them because I like the style, and, you know, you want to be able to go out and wear something like that and enjoy it, and instead now it's sitting on a shelf looking pretty, and I am enjoying that to a certain extent, but not the same as if I could go out and just wear them around like it didn't matter. And that's my decision as well. I choose to put them on a shelf. I could choose to wear them out, but if I wear them out, I will decrease the value of them by a certain degree. And so that's a conscious decision that I'm making not to. I think all of us in our lives probably have decisions like this that we make that we don't necessarily think about because of money. And I do the best I can to not let money interfere with the quality of my life. Like I said, I try to basically live an order of magnitude beneath my means, at least. And long term, with where I'm trying to take things, you know, really I'm trying to take them to where I can live however I want to live, and the money is inconsequential. I think also an aspect of this that I find interesting is, and this gets to how I invest, is that, you know, money being an exchange of value first and foremost is why, you know, I don't like to park money in static assets. I don't like to keep it in saving accounts. I don't like to put it in gold. I believe people create value, and the best way to generate value long term is through people doing smart things, creating value for society. And so I look for companies where I believe that is happening, and I try to park my money there long term. So yes, you know, I'm doing it through stocks, and I am invested heavily in the stock market, but the stock market is also just a tool through which I'm actually purchasing ownership of companies. I don't see myself as owning stock. I see myself as owning companies. And viewed through that lens, it's a lot easier to deal with things like volatility in stock price swings, because the stock price can change all at once. The fundamentals of the company remain what they are. And so when I have days where I've generated, you know, $155,000 on paper, the reality is that that value was not generated overnight. That value was always there. It just happened to get recognized overnight. And so, you know, that's a little bit about, I think, the psychology around my investing style. And I just found it really fascinating to me that even people like Gordon Murray with a $20 million F1, and I'm sure resources beyond that, has to deal with the financial implications or consequences of the world around him, and making decisions that maybe are not ideal for monetary reasons, which, you know, like I said, if I ever get to that point, I don't know if I were in his shoes. Like I said, I'm a very sentimental guy. I don't think I'm the type of person that could part with that car if I'm the one that designed it. So, Gordon Murray, if you're watching this, this drive's for you. See you guys later. Alright, so I'm at the top of Highway 9, and I just shot the video that you just watched, and now I want some extra clips of the car in action, but it's just me. So I'm gonna give this a shot and we'll see if it hangs on. So I mounted the GoPro with a suction cup to the rear quarter window, and we're gonna go for a drive, and hopefully I still have it when I'm done.